Well, hi, students. Greetings from my living room. And yeah, this is going to be my last video. I thought would make a whole series of them when we first started this out. Get my whole YouTube career setting up with all of my followers. But it looks like this will be it. So I just wanted to wrap some things up, give you guys kind of like let you know what happened with the class, what's going on with that, and then I have some final words of advice kind of for you. So first off, yeah, hope everyone's well. Things are going well for me. Been gardening a lot, running, and I feel like I'm getting in good shape. Kind of training for like a 5K or 10K or something like that. I have time, and generally trying to keep busy, which is good. In between all that and trying to manage, family life. We're all kind of together a lot, so making sure everyone, kind of maintains their sanity in some way. So yeah, but I've been good. I hope you're all well too. In terms of the class, kind of let me give you the lowdown. I've been getting some emails, people asking me some questions about it. And so if you're not sure, here's what it is. If you were passing at the time school ended, March 13th, if you had an A, B, C, or D, you're done. You've earned a pass for the course. You're only assessing those learning targets up to that point. And you've earned a pass, regardless, of course, of what grade you had before then. Now, that's not everybody. I have a group of kids who are continuing to work hard. At that moment, they didn't have the grade they wanted. So some people are getting some new work, right? And keep if you're watching this and that's one of you, keep grinding away, keep getting it done, and we're going to make that happen, okay? So technically the class is over. But I've also been getting some responses where students were asking kind of if there's something that they could do, right? I had a good conversation with Raven Kopelman from a while ago, maybe last week. She was asking about some scholarship questions about the Electoral College. Well, I'm here for that. If you have questions about that, yeah, certainly send me a message and I'll get right back to you. I had someone else just wanted to get some information about what's going on with the economy. So I still read the Wall Street Journal. I still read the New York Times. I'd be happy to send you over something I found interesting. So if you want to keep up, not necessarily with the class, it won't be homework. I'm not going to assess it, but just if you miss kind of the intellectual discourse, right, the discussions we had in class, your COVID updates, please, I'm still here for you. In fact, I'd like it. Send me your questions, and we'll get something going with that. So please, keep that going. So I'm always your teacher, right? Which brings me to kind of the main point of doing this video. Typically, at the end of the year, especially all of you are seniors, I'll start to get requests for letters of recommendation. Well, we didn't really have that opportunity this year, right? I go over a whole thing with it. So that's kind of what I want to focus on right now. It's important that you ask your teachers for letters of recommendation. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I don't need those now. I have like my college planned out. Well, they can serve lots of purposes. Of course, they're for college, but they're also for jobs, right? They kind of for many of you, I've had the opportunity to know you've had me for not only Gov and Econ this year, some of you had me for both classes. Last year I taught U.S. history, 11th graders. I had you last year and this year. And there's a group of you, Megan Strain, who I had all the way back in sophomore year, who I have today. So those groups of you, it's a chance. I got to see you progress through maybe 1, 2, or 3 years of your high school experience. And me being able to write about that's valuable. So if you're going to ask one of your teachers for a letter of recommendation, what do? I'll tell you what not to do. Don't just send an email saying, hey, can you write me a letter of rec? You're going to get a letter, which we'll talk about how, you're a solid kid, you did your work and participated. And you get 3 letters that'll sound exactly like that. They'll be vague, and they won't really describe you as an individual, right? And they'll, frankly, all be the same. So it's important that you tailor your letter for what you want. So I'm going to ask that you have 3 things in your request. 1, you're going to want to make sure to tell the teacher what is the purpose of the letter. Is it for college? Is it just simply to have for employment, to have on file for you? So you'd start by saying, dear Mr. So-and-so, I'm asking for a letter, if you could, for this purpose. Give us a date. We got a lot going on, just like you do. And give us kind of like I'd like it by this date, but a firm date, if you need a firm date, would be in there as well. So give us a date. And then tell me what it is you want me to highlight. Mention something specific that you did. I'm going back, I'm thinking about it. Some of you, Taylin, Vianney, you guys did these econ projects, super creative. You're creative, you were insightful, and that added a lot. I could write a letter talking about that project that you did. Some of you were amazing contributors to class. You just kind of you kept the class going. I think of someone like Damien and Bomaro this last semester. Your questions and comments, not just helped me as a teacher, but they helped your classmates. I could write about that. And then lastly, some of you, from the moment we started a class to the day we ended it, you had a 4.0 and you ended with a 4.0. Someone like Melody, Megan, you're rock stars, and I can talk about the academic portion. So you want to ask for letters from your teachers that have different elements of you as a student. I have good things to say about all of you, and it's part of my job, and I enjoy doing it. So hit me up, ask me for a letter of rec, and be more than happy to do it. Which brings us to kind of our last bit here, right? Kind of bittersweet. This is it. This is like goodbye, right? Normally we have, of course, that senior breakfast where I get to take pictures with everyone and we sign yearbooks, and that didn't happen this year. And nobody wants this, right? Nobody wanted this or intended this to happen. And we're going to do our best to make sure that you're acknowledged. But personally, I just wish I had the opportunity to tell each and every one of you, what it's meant to me and how much I enjoy being your teacher and being a part of Aloha, right? So when we look back at different classes, I've been teaching for 20 years, different classes have different, personalities. And I always remember your classes being kind, all the way through, kind and empathetic. And when I say that, it's not just being nice. In my classes, if any of you've all had me, I don't really have discipline issues. Whenever anything popped up, we would just talk it out as human beings. That hasn't always been true in my 20 years of teaching, right? That was specific to you, to your group, that you came together to support each other. And that made my job as a teacher so much easier. You always showed support for each other whenever someone was presenting. You were aware of what they were going through. You had this empathy where you would genuinely listen. You would ask meaningful questions and you would support them with applause. Things like that may seem small, but they don't always happen again. And your group always did that. And you were friendly. You would always stop by and say hi. Some of you for many years, right, haven't had, and you know who you are. We'd see each other in the hall, and you'd just stop by to visit. And that was nice. So I appreciate your kindness. And I'm going to miss it. All right, so, not to be corny, but, we are warriors. We'll always be warriors. We talk about the spirit of Ohana, and it can seem like a word at times, but we are like family. And when we think about what that means, we can kind of bug each other sometimes, get on each other's nerves, but I'll always have your back, and I'll be there for you. So with that in mind, I want to congratulate you. If you have any questions, not just about school, about life, please send me over an email. I'd be happy to hear from you. So take care, everybody.